there's a great deal of misinformation about this incident that is out there. Although I can't go into the entirety of the because the investigation is continuing, I'd like to provide some of the facts that may clarify some of the concerns that occurred on this incident. Um, Officers were sent to a burglary that had occurred in 2700 block of 29th Street. Information was given about a distinctive backpack that was observed at the scene, and prior to officers getting there, had it was no longer there. In fact, the complainant called and said the backpack wasn't there. Based on that distinctive description of that backpack, officers observed a subject with a backpack that was very similar to the description that the complainant gave. They went to make contact with the subject that had the backpack on, and it was again very close proximity to where the burglary had occurred, and also the timing of the incident was also relative because it was during that time when the initial call came in and the subject was observed. So officers went to make contact with the subject. Commands were given to the subject. He did not comply. And understand there was some concern about the number of officers that were sent. This was a burglary either in progress or had just occurred. So a number of officers were sent to that scene. When the subject was not compliant with the initial officers that had observed him with this distinctive backpack, officers were diverted from that initial call to the contact that was being made with the subject to further increase not only was he not cooperative, a crowd started to gather as officers were attempting to make contact. Officers talked to the subject for several minutes, trying to get him to comply. He would not. Eventually, he was taken into custody. During that time, there's information out there about injuries he sustained. He those injuries were self-inflicted. He basically bashed his head into the police cruiser, causing significant or damage to the cruiser. At no time was force used on this subject other than just placing him into custody. The investigation into the burglary still continues. So my officers were acting on information that they observed. Contact was made. It would be irresponsible of them not to follow up. They wouldn't be doing their job, quite frankly, to try and investigate this incident had they not made contact. Unfortunately, it's drawn a lot of attention, and I'm okay with that because I don't mind the scrutiny, but we also have to make sure we're following the facts. And the facts are that we had a crime that was committed, a subject with a distinctive backpack that was at the scene of the crime but was observed wearing that backpack in close proximity at the time of the incident. Was Contact was made with him. Unfortunately, he did not cooperate with officers and he was taken into custody.